Right, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The arrival of Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim, Senior Secretariat Director, accompanied by Center Directors of Senior XM and Senior SAN. Please welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start our session with Malaysia's national anthem and senior colors. Thank you very much. Kindly be seated. Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim, Senior Secretariat Director, Madam Zairila Zainal, Senior Assistant Secretary, Strategic Planning and International Relations Division, Ministry of Education, Malaysia, Dr. Azman bin Jusuf, Center Director of Senior Exam, Puan Jamilah Kadir, Center Director of Senior Sen, Malacca, Malaysia, distinguished guests, staff, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to welcome each and every one of you here this morning, this very cold morning, to the national launch of the 2023 Global Education Monitoring, or in short we call it GEM, report in Southeast Asia in Malaysia. Now today we have a lineup of forum panelists, we have lineups of remarks which are going to inspire you. We will start the first remarks from none other than Senior Exam's beloved Center Director, Dr. Azman bin Jusuf. Please welcome Dr. Azman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani, and a very good morning. Datuk Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim, Director Senior Secretariat CMS, Puan Zairila Zainal, Senior Assistant Secretary, Strategic Planning and International Relations Divisions, Ministry of Education, Malaysia, Puan Jamilah Kadir, Center Director of Senior Sen, forum speakers, distinguished guests, and dedicated staff of Senior Exams and also Senior Sens. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the national launch of the 2023 Global Education Monitoring Report in Southeast Asia and Malaysia, entitled Technology in Education, a Tool on Whose Terms. On behalf of the Senior Exams, it is my distinct honor to welcome you all to this event, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude to UNESCO and to the Senior Secretariat for entrusting Senior Exam and Senior Sens with the privilege of hosting this significant event. I also would like to express my sincere appreciation to our esteemed guests, including Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim from the Senior Secretariat and other distinguished attendees for gracing us with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, GEM research was conducted in 2023 and data was collected from the 5 countries, from Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, the Philippines, and Timor-Leste. Then it was compiled into the report and published that in the same year. The report recognized the emphasis given to the technology in Southeast Asia for the socio-economic development, which is being reflected in the focus on digital skill development and investment in connectivity. Today's education is shaped by technological change and offer personalized learning, real-time assessment, and access to global resources for future generations. But, as the GEM report wisely points out, we must ask critical questions about the applications of the technology in education. Is it appropriate? Is it equitable? And how it can be sustained? These questions are not just technical questions, but these questions are closely related to our missions at CIMO-REXAM. We want to be a leading center for quality science and mathematics educations, and we committed to promote and to enhance science and mathematics educations across Southeast Asia. And we believe that every science and mathematics educators deserve an access to high quality learning opportunities regardless of their backgrounds. Distinguished guests, technology, if not carefully managed, can worsen an existing inequality. It can leave behind the teachers and educators without reliable internet access and those who struggle to navigate new digital platforms. The GEM report for the Southeast Asia 2023 offers a roadmap to ensure that technology serves as a tool for positive change rather than the force that widen the gaps in our education system. By emphasizing the need for evidence-based decision-making, systematic framework, a sustained investment in our teachers, the report provides a clear and compelling visions for how we can harness technology in the ways that promotes equity, quality, and efficiency in education. At CIMO-REXAM, through our research and development activities, we aim to provide the evidence-based insight that will inform effective policies and practices for integrating technology into science and mathematics educations. And our professional development program focuses on equipping teachers with the skill and knowledge they need to leverage technology in the ways that enhance learning outcomes. At the same time, through our strong network and partnership with other institutions, we will work together to ensure that the benefits of technology are distributed to the educators and that no educators are left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, the launching of the Bahasa Melayu translations of the GEM report today demonstrate our commitment to accessibility and inclusivity. By sharing the report's findings and recommendations in Malaysia's national language, we aim to reach more people and encourage a lively and inclusive discussions about technology in education. Thank you, CIMO Secretariat, for your dedicated efforts in translating the reports. Before I conclude, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the UNESCO GEM report teams and to the CIMO Secretariat for their invaluable collaborations. My sincere appreciation also goes to the Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim for joining us despite your busy schedule. Finally, to the dedicated teams at CIMO-REXAM and CIMO-SEN for their tireless effort in organizing this event. Thank you very much for making this event successful. Once again, welcome to the national launch of the 2023 GEMS report. I hope today's discussions will provide valuable insight and inspire collaborative efforts toward advancing equitable and innovative education for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Azman, for his welcoming speech. Now, if you notice in the full program, it says Dr. Azman is actually welcoming speech. So, CIMO-REXAM is the host, so we welcome each and every one of you. So, to appreciate your presence here today, Puan Jamilah Kadir, the Center Director of CIMO-SEN, will deliver appreciative remarks. Please welcome Puan Jamilah.
Datuk Dr. Habibah binti Ibrahim, the Director of Simeo Secretariat, Madam Zaidila Zainal, Senior Assistant Secretary, Strategic Planning and International Relations Division, Ministry of Education, Dr. Azban Jusso, the Center Director of Simeo Wrexham, distinguished participants, esteemed guests, and dedicated staffs. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani, and a very good day to everyone. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, partners and respected educators, policymakers and also participants joining here and also online. It is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today to welcome you to the national launch of the Southeast Asian Global Education Monitoring GEM Report 2023, Technology in Education, a tool on whose terms, okay, and which is hosted here in Wrexham, our senior big brother, since our director is man here, so it's our big brother here. Thank you, Dr. Azman, for hosting all of us, and on behalf of Simeo San, allow me to extend our deepest gratitude to everyone here who has taken the time to attend this meaningful and also very significant event. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, technology has become a cornerstone of education and transforming how we teach, how we learn, and also how we interact in classrooms and beyond. However, while it offers immense potential to improve access, quality, and inclusivity in education, it also raises critical questions such as whose needs are we prioritizing? Are we ensuring that no one is left behind? And are the tools we create truly inclusive, or are they unintentionally creating new barriers for those who need the most? So these are not easy questions, ladies and gentlemen, but not easy, but they are very, very necessary, and especially for us here in Southeast Asia, where diversity and equity are the heart of our education system. And the GEM Report 2023 is a vital resource that encourages us to reflect on these challenges and also the opportunities. It goes beyond the surface of technological innovation to examine the realities of implementation, accessibility and impact, but reminds us that technology is not only as powerful as the inclusivity of its design and use. Ladies and gentlemen, at Simeo San, we are deeply committed to advancing education for learners with disabilities across the region. And we believe that technology, when used thoughtfully and strategically, can be a very, very powerful enabler of inclusion, from assistive devices that empower students with visual or hearing impairments to digital learning platforms that connect us to rural communities to global knowledge. Technology has the potential to level the playing field for all learners. However, this potential can only be realized when we work together to ensure that technology truly serves the needs of every student, especially those who are at risk of being left behind. And today's launch is not only merely the dissemination of findings, it is an invitation to dialogues, more collaborations and take actions. It is a moment to reflect on how far we have come and what steps we must take to ensure that education technology is inclusive, equitable and impactful. And I hope that the discussions and reflections today will inspire all of us to innovate, adapt and advocate for change in our respective roles and spheres of influence. Ensuring technologies that do not leave disability inclusive education behind. And thank you and congratulations to Simeo Secretariat for preparing a Bahasa Melayu translated copy of the GEM report, in ensuring that the report reaches all levels of educators, industry players, advocates, learners and policymakers in Malaysia, thus making it more inclusive in nature. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I would like to take this opportunity to commend Simeo Wrexham, Simeo Secretariat and UNESCO GEM report team for their unwavering dedication to advancing the education agenda in our region and beyond. Your work continues to serve as a beacon of inspiration and guidance for all of us to make education a right and a reality for every learner. Let us make today's session inspiring and transformative as we work together to harness the power of technology in education for the benefit of every child, every learner and every community. May this event spark new ideas, strengthen partnership, participation, and also guide us towards a brighter and more inclusive future. And before I end, I would also like to mention that 3rd December, it is still not too late, to wish all of us here a happy, not say a happy, it is an International People with Disabilities Day. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen, the theme is amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future. So this launching of GEM report really um, exemplifies what the theme is all about for this years of people with disabilities internationally. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Jamilah Kadir, Center Director of Senior Sen. Since Madam Jamilah mentioned Big Brother, so we have small sister Sen, Big Brother Rexam. Now we have the best of them all, the mother. From Simeo Secretariat, please welcome Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim for opening remarks and program introduction.
So we are not siblings, we are a family. Dr. Azman Yusof, Center Director of Senior Rexam. Puan Jamilah Kadir, Center Director of Senior Sen. Puan Zarina Zainal, Ministry of Education Malaysia. Esteemed Ministry of Education Malaysia officials, Senior Rexam and Senior Sen colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera, very good morning. It is my honor to be here for the Malaysia national launch of the 2023 Global Education Monitoring or GEM report on education and technology in Southeast Asia. My sincere gratitude to Dr. Azman Yusof, Director of Senior Rexam, and his team for their warm welcome and hospitality in hosting this national launch. A special thanks as well to Puan Jamilah Kadir, Director of Senior Sen, and her team for their invaluable support in coordinating today's event. Senior, with its 11 member countries, 9 associate member countries beyond Southeast Asia, 8 affiliate members, and 26 senior regional centers and network, is committed to achieving our vision of a better quality of life in Southeast Asia through promoting cooperation in education, science, and culture. To achieve this vision, we have several priority areas, one of which is advancing 21st century skills and technological skills. So this includes navigating education technology and digital skills. We must recognize that technology has become an integral part of our daily lives, particularly in the realm of education, where it is not just a tool, but a catalyst for change in the classroom and in our education system. To further deepen our understanding of education technology in the region, CMEO has partnered with the UNESCO GEM report team in Paris last year to develop the 2023 Global Education Monitoring Report on Technology in Education in Southeast Asia. On behalf of the CMEO Secretariat and the UNESCO GEM team, I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to present the key highlights of this report to the esteemed policymakers in Malaysia. This GEM report seeks to be our guide as we navigate the digital transformation of education in Southeast Asia. It highlights the immense potential technology holds to revolutionize learning, foster innovative teaching methodologies, increase accessibility and inclusion, and improve education governance. However, it also sheds light on the challenges that demand our attention. Issues of equity, access, governance and regulations, and the need for adaptable policies in the face of rapid educational technological advancements. I would like to emphasize that this GEM report is more than a compilation of facts and figures. It encapsulates the dynamic landscape of education technology in our region. It dives into the gains we have made, recognizing our successes, while confronting the challenges that persist and those that lies ahead. It draws on the experience and expertise of policymakers, educators and researchers, and evidence from research studies. Thus, it offers an understanding of the lessons learned from the formulation of education technology policies and programs, implementation on the ground, and the outcomes of these initiatives. The GEM report reveals that Southeast Asia has witnessed one of the fastest growth rates in internet use globally. So we are the fastest growing region, increasing from just 16% in 2004 to 70% in 2021. In 2020 alone, 40 million Southeast Asians went online for the first time. That's a huge number. However, the report also emphasized the huge variance within and among countries in the region. So it's not just across our countries we see, but even within our own countries we see variances. One example is the access to the internet from home of Southeast Asian students. So the average is 57%, which is quite good. However, the range among countries is huge, from 16% at the lowest end to 98% at the highest end. So where does Malaysia lie? While we can say that technology-enabled solutions have expanded access to education, we also learn that technology has not yet truly transformed education due to the challenges that remain. Change resulting from the use of digital technology is incremental and uneven. Further, change varies by socio-economic level, education level, and teacher willingness and preparedness. Impartial evidence on the impact of education technology is limited and depends on the type of technology and the kinds of learning. Following this, we will present the key findings and recommendations from the GEM report. We believe these insights will play a crucial role in shaping education policy, not just in Malaysia, but across Southeast Asia. We hope to use this data to build opportunities for regional collaboration in the field of education technology. So I think I would just like to add that we launched this at the high officials meeting immediately after in 2023 last year. And this year we launched the OSCE report in Southeast Asia with the out-of-school children. And one of the sub-themes within the OSCE report is on education technology in addressing out-of-school children and youth. So Puan Jamila mentioned about inclusion. So I think we cannot avoid that education technology is kind of the buzzword and the tool that's currently in use and is advancing very rapidly. So we need to take note on how we can best use education technology in many of our areas in education. So as we discuss the findings of the report, I want to remind us all to keep our learners at the forefront of this conversation. I think it has been repeated that it says this education technology report is on our terms. So whose term is this? The learners as well as the teachers. They are the ones, at the forefront. They are, after all, the reason we are here today, the driving force behind our policies and the ultimate beneficiaries of our efforts. As we flesh out the findings of the report, we must ensure that our focus remains on our learners, Technology in education is not merely about the tools and platforms. It is about how our learners engage, learn, and thrive. It must be relevant, evidence-based, scalable, and sustainable. Most especially, it should be on our learners' terms, accommodating their diverse needs and contexts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim, Senior Secretariat Director, for the opening remarks and program introduction. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to find out a little bit details about GEM. The presentations of key findings and recommendations of the 2023 Global Education Monitoring Southeast Asia Report will be delivered by Ms. Diva Safitri, Publication and Multimedia Specialist from Senior Secretariat. Please welcome Ms. Diva. The floor is all yours.
Good morning. Is it working? Good morning. Sorry for the technical hiccups. Datuk Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim, Director of Senior Secretariat, Dr. Azlan bin Yusuf, Director of Senior Exam, Puan Jamilah Abdul Kadir, Director of Senior Sen, esteemed guests, and representative from Ministry of Education Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. My name is Diva. I am a specialist with the Senior Secretariat, and I am very honored to be here today to present the key highlights and recommendations from the 2023 Global Education Monitoring Report on Technology and Education in Southeast Asia. In this report, we partnered and collaborated with the UNESCO GEM team in Paris, as well as senior regional centers, to dig deep into how education technology is being experienced by the region across 11 countries, including Malaysia. I would also like to invite Dr. Habibah to please come in and add any further points shall needed. Digital infrastructure has obviously expanded rapidly in Southeast Asia, including in education. As you can see here, we have a chart of individuals using the internet since 2004, and the data shows that while internet use in Southeast Asia equaled the global average at 16% in 2004, in 2021 it reached 70%, outpacing the global average at 66%. Digital platforms and content have multiplied, with 96% of learners in Singapore, 77% in Thailand, and 59% in Indonesia went to school with learning platforms. However, also in Malaysia, sorry, I'm too short to see. I'll try to move now. In Malaysia, data from 2018 shows that 86% of students already had access to an online learning platform. This is 2018, so the number is definitely a lot higher now. However, we also found that only 40% of these students went to school where teachers were provided with incentives to integrate the online learning platform with their teaching. Which brings me to the next point. While technology has changed the education landscape, it has not yet transformed it. Changes resulting from the use of technology remain incremental and uneven. There is also impartial evidence that impact is limited and depends on the type of technology and the kind of learning. For example, in Malaysia, the Smart School project has proven to increase access to education for students in rural areas through virtual classrooms. However, the use of mobile and online technology in education at the primary and secondary level is not yet well documented. When CMU started brainstorming about the report with the UNESCO team, we asked ourselves, what is the ideal educational system that we would like to see? The answer is we would like to see an educational system that is equitable, that is inclusive, and that is efficient. But then we also ask again, how can technology support in achieving this goal of an equitable, inclusive, and efficient education system? From the data we collected for this GEM report, we found that mature technologies such as television and radio have helped millions, including learners with disabilities and in emergency contexts. Television programs reach over 1 million students in remote areas with teacher shortages in Thailand. And in Malaysia, a digital braille textbook supported learning for visually impaired students. COVID-19 has also accelerated distance learning institutionalization, including in Malaysia. But at the same time, the report also highlights that many learners remain excluded from the potential of digital technology because of inequality in access to the technology, inequality in the ability to use technology, and in confidence of using technology. From the report, we also learned that online content has grown without proper regulation. But on the other hand, we learned that content creation, adaptation access, and distribution has expanded opportunities and potentially lower costs. Specifically in Malaysia, Open Educational Resources, initiative by Wawasan Open University, is estimated to have reduced the cost of course development by 1.4 million Malaysian ringgit within 4 years. However, this rapid growth of online content creation has outpaced the establishment of proper regulation. It is crucial that digital content be quality assured to align with the national curriculum and ensure the safety of online usage. While Malaysia has made significant strides in aligning digital textbooks and videos with the national curriculum, we still found that digital safety is not yet explicitly addressed in the curricula of many Southeast Asian countries, with the notable exception of Singapore and Philippines. In terms of quality, this report highlights that some education technology can improve some types of learning in some contexts. While technology in education can help to increase access to resources and fill education gaps, as well as help engage and stimulate learners at the same time, the report also shows that excessive use of technology can be counterproductive. There is also not a lot of evidence on impact, especially when the only focus is on the hardwares, without training teachers on how to use them in classrooms. The region also has promoted the digitalization of higher education, which has been shown to expand equitable access through open and distance learning. Some countries have also produced policies that are conducive to the digital transformation of education, such as Malaysia's commitment to blended learning models by 2025. However, there is still a lack of educators' capacity, which remains an obstacle in many parts of the region. In terms of efficiency, there is progress on the use of technology in education management, but the full potential is still difficult to reach. Evidence suggests that improving efficiency can make a difference and geospatial data can support education management, but there are still several obstacles to overcome, some of which are related to the lack of interconnectedness and interoperability of data sharing across the region. Moreover, the short and long-term costs of using digital technology are often underestimated. The report has estimated that it would cost 18 billion US dollars to connect all schools in lower to middle income countries to the internet. This could bring many countries, including in Southeast Asia, further away from achieving their goals of SDG 4. On privacy, still less than 1 in 3 countries in Southeast Asia can guarantee the privacy in education by law or policy. There are also costs involved on the planet, which e-waste reached 35.3 million metric tons in Southeast Asia, with long-term consequences on the sustainability of the environment. Many countries also lack the policies and regulations on the use of technology in education. This figure from our report shows the percentage of countries with specific education technology related policies in Southeast Asia in 2023. The report concludes by asking policymakers and decision makers to consider 4 tensions when using technology in education. The first tension is personalization and adaptation versus the social dimension of education. The second is inclusivity versus exclusivity. Third is commercial interest versus common good. And last, the short-term efficiency versus long-term cost. The report also highlights the use of 4 compasses when deciding to deploy technology in education. There are 4 questions to ask before deploying technology in education. The first is it scalable? And then, is it sustainable? And is the usage of technology in education, is it appropriate? And is it equitable? The report recommends policymakers and decision makers to consider technology as a tool that needs to be deployed on the learner's term. The key point here is to keep learners at the heart of an education technology framework that is based on human rights. We need to focus on learning outcomes, not digital inputs. We also need to be aware that digital technology should not be a substitute for human interaction. Teachers cannot be replaced by technology. Thank you for your attention. To access the full report, please scan the QR code here. But please be mindful that this is the QR code that will take you to the full report in English. For the Bahasa Melayu version will be launched after this. Thank you so much.
Now, thank you so much, Miss Diva. I think you just remain somewhere on the stage or standing. Now, we open the floor for questions. Answers will be from Miss Diva or maybe Dato Habibah as well. Alright? So, feel free to ask any questions. Just raise your hand. I will come to you with the microphone. Okay? Shoot! Open the floor. Any question except for when are we going to have lunch? Alright, open the floor. Any questions, please? You understand everything that Miss Diva presented?
That means my presentation has been very clear. If there is no question, that is also okay. We will be sitting here, so you're feel free to come and ask us if you have any more questions.
Yeah, please. Maybe there should be one. There should be one. There you go. Aha! This question is going to kill you, Diva.
Oh no.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Wan Azmin from Simulation. I just want to ask you one question. How do we balance the usage of the digital technologies and the non-digital technologies? Because recently, I had the experience with some of our participants about 2 days ago that they are still weak in measuring using the ruler. Okay, so I think that is something that we have to think about also. So how do we balance that?
Hello. This is working. Okay. Thank you so much for your question. For balancing between the, say, digital technology and then using uh, a more conventional version of education um, tools, I think here we need to really, really take it into consideration that digital technology is not the answer to everything. Digital technology is can and will complement the conventional way of teaching if used appropriately. Say, example, for rulers, we can also figure out why are they having the difficulties and where certain technology or like online learning platforms can support them. But at the same time, we also need to really take it into consideration. Is technology really what's needed in this specific context? Because for myself, for example, I grew up in the 90s, so I didn't have a lot of technology to help me learn. Um, and there are times that, yes, technology can support very, very well. Maybe you can use, like, there's some application now that has digital ruler, and then you can bring it in the front of the class, and people can use that to try to measure their stuff. Um, and then you can say, so each of you now have a ruler, and you can you can do exactly the same that's shown in this through this application for exam. But at the same time, we still want them to know how to use a ruler, right? So that's the goal. So for me, you need to know, first of all, where the difficulty is and whether technology is really the most appropriate to use in this context. If that's the answer, then technology should be used to complement the learning that they're already experiencing right now. That's Dr. Habiba. Do you have a different answer or do you have additional answer, please? I'm asking for help.
I think you answered pretty well.
Okay.
But I think there were four questions that you posed when thinking about education and technology. I think one of it is whether the technology is aligned to our objectives and our national context. So that's in the bigger picture of it. So that means looking at our curriculum and our direction and how does technology improve learning within this context. So I think it goes also to what we do within the classroom. It's not a matter of looking at how shall I use technology today. It's what am I going to teach or what's the lesson about today and how perhaps technology supports. So for me, ruler is a technology. Only they're talking about perhaps digital technology. So if the digital technology supports the learning and the lesson that you have planned, then I think you will be able to design an appropriate and relevant use of the digital technology. So I think the question here is how does the digital technology supports learning and supports the improvement of our education system rather than, hey, technology is the buzzword, so how do we include technology within our curriculum and assessment? It's not. It's the other way around. Where do we want to take our education system? What kind of curriculum and assessment will bring us to that kind of education system? So how then does technology support all this? So I think that's how we should be thinking about rather than we always think about apa dia peranti device yang kita nak provide kepada murid atau pelajar kita. We should be thinking about, okay, kita nak prepare our children for the futures of work. And we see from many conversations, either globally, regionally, in Malaysia, that in the future there will be a lot of demand on digital skills. Therefore, that should be part of what we also inculcate within our classroom. And therefore, how do we then introduce digital and within our curriculum design. So I think that's the way rather than considering I think it should be what's the objective of the lesson, the learning, and then whether what's
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Habibah and Miss Diba. Now, I receive questions from online as well because we are streaming online in YouTube. Three questions. The more the merrier.
We'll
Okay.
try.
First one, how has GEM report promote quality education in other parts of the world, which maybe Malaysia can learn its best practices? That's number one. You have pen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, from the GEM report, what are among the biggest challenges for Southeast Asian countries to fully utilize technology in education? That's number two. Number three, how do we ensure the safety of our learners when using technology, since most of it will be online and vulnerable? Okay, three.
I can try to answer question number 2 and number 3. For number 1, I would like to kindly ask Dr. Habibah for help again. The question number 2 is on challenge, the biggest challenge right now.
We can hear you.
Okay. In using technology in education, and the report found that the biggest challenge is actually the focus of the usage of technology in education, which are often on inputs rather than outputs, which means generally policies that has been seen in Southeast Asia so far, they focus on providing the device rather than teaching or making learners and teachers understand how to use the device to support their learning. It's actually in the report we talk about there is this program in Thailand about 1 laptop per student, 1 tablet per student in Thailand, where they distributed over 1,800 laptops and tablets, but unfortunately did not lead to the outcomes that was expected. Because again, these are devices, these are hardwares, and it's useless if you don't advocate about how to use it best in each of the contexts. And for example, tablets, laptops might work in urban areas, but what about people in rural areas where there probably lack of network and connectivity? Laptops and tablets are practically useless there. So yes, and it was also one of the reasons why the program failed. Both of the laptop and the tablet program failed, and that's also one of the biggest challenges we currently face. The other challenge is also ensuring that teachers actually have the necessary skills and actually have the incentive to be utilizing technology in their learning, in their teaching system. So if we focus on the inputs, focus on the hardwares, but we don't actually advocate teachers to use it in their classrooms, the result will not be what's expected. Because again, technology is meant to be a complementary to human interactions. Technology cannot replace teachers. So I think those are the 2 biggest challenges that we can see from the report right now. For question number 3, can you please repeat again?
Number 3, how do we ensure the safety of our learners when using technology, since most of it will be online and vulnerable?
So yes, this is actually the point on my slide as well, where there is now not enough regulation, but safety should be guaranteed through policy and regulations. When technology is being used in education, it doesn't only come with how to use it, but also how to make sure that students, learners are safe in using it. So Malaysia has aligned some of the digital learning systems with their national curriculum. And Singapore and the Philippines actually have included digital safety in their education program, so they taught students and learners how to be safe in the online world. And those are very, very crucial skills to have now in the 21st century. Um, so how do we ensure safety? Make sure that it's developed well into the curriculum, make sure that the policy and regulation supports it, um, and make sure that the digital safety element is um, is explicitly addressed in each of the digital education, technology and education usage, both day-to-day learning, teaching, as well as the bigger spectrum of policy and recommendations from policymakers. I hope that answers the question. May I kindly invite Dr. Habibah to answer question number 1. Thank you so much, Datuk.
Repeat the question.
All right. How has GEM report promote quality education in other parts of the world, which maybe Malaysia can learn its best practices?
I think there's no one solution that the GEM report has put forward for countries. I think rather it has tried to highlight the various initiatives that countries have taken in order to promote digital technology in education across many countries. In fact, even among our 11 senior member countries, you can see a lot of things that have been put in place. For example, even for teachers, if we analyze on teacher platforms, either for teaching or for learning, we can see many examples, be it in Cambodia, Laos, even in Malaysia or Indonesia. It's guru berbagi, they call it, aligned to their Merdeka curriculum. So I think we can find many good practices by countries, but we see that many countries too, and particularly in Southeast Asia, have policies on providing devices and connectivity either to schools or to students themselves, except for one. So there are 10 out of 11 countries. However, while there's a lot of positiveness in it, and the growth that Eva was talking about, and I mentioned the growth as well, indicates there's a lot of potential for us to learn from each other and also from our own practice. But then again, a lot of focus has been on the devices and the connectivity rather than how to embed it within the whole change of education or transformation, because the technology itself has not transformed education. You need to design your own education transformation and how to see how that digital tool supports that transformation. And we also see that while digital technology has been introduced in many countries, but we lack data on the impact of the use of such technology. And even when data is available, ministries seldom analyze and understand what the data means in order to further the education system. So that's what the report tells. But our own report of GEM in Southeast Asia, we have tried to promote it in many of our platforms where we are invited to speak. So it has been a good report, informed about the situation in Southeast Asia. And the report has also generated a lot of further conversations. For example, last year during the Senior University of Tsukuba Symposium, where all the senior centers our invited and represented. The topic was also on technology and AI. So we have a little bit of understanding on AI, but we are still working on it to further understand, because we can't talk much on AI currently. We have not come up with a report, but we are working with an tech hub on it, and that has been a favorite discussion. And in one of the conference that we presented on digital technology was organized by Code.org and Teach AI. So based on the interest there, this year at home, Teach AI was present and in our site event to talk further about policies and about AI. And we will be working with them. In fact, MIT also came to talk about AI in that site event. So based on the report, our understanding of the region and how we are promoting and advocating it, we are attracting interest to further support our 11 member countries. But then again, while there's a lot of positive and we look at the positive, think also of the challenges. While we are talking about inclusivity and the potential of addressing equity and inclusivity, we should also understand, can the technology cause further widening of gap? Because, for example, the report says that children from the lowest from the highest socio-economic status are 8 times more likely to learn in digital technology as compared to those children from the lower socio-economic levels. We also see that children from urban schools are twice as likely to learn using a computer as compared to children from rural schools. So we see that, and this is within our countries. I'm not saying particularly Malaysia, but on average, that's what we see. And while many countries are providing platforms, including Malaysia, for example, we are very far from Malaysia, and many other countries also hope from it. But we also see that how are we ensuring security? That's one of the questions. So I think we do have some data protection there. But then again, many of our countries lack guidelines, laws, and policies on security in using digital technology. And what about our teachers? So while many of our teachers are perhaps motivated, particularly during the COVID-19, when many started learning and trying to use digital technology, but are we able to sustain after the COVID-19 when school reopens? Our own study on CPLM shows that while we are promoting technology, 1/3 of our teachers at the primary level lack the confidence in using digital technology within the classroom. So with that lack of confidence, how do they actually use them, to facilitate learning? And we know many of our children now are more familiar with the use of technology than perhaps our teachers who are more senior. So we are trying to use digital technology with these digital natives, right? So we were having conversation yesterday over dinner where my 5-year-old Chuchu was talking about hackers and blockers and avatar. 5 years old. So I don't know how the school is going to handle this kind of child. And I still believe in our national education system, in our national schools. But I also worry about what can the school do for her, for this kind of, for her generation, and also future generation to come, where there's already a lot of changes. We learn how to when I was doing my master's. I'm just a I'm not a native. But this generation, future generation, will be the native. I think what they're doing it. And if Singapore is so small, Indonesia is huge, thousands of islands. How would they manage? So I think there's a lot of potential for Malaysia to develop further.
Thank you very much, Dr. Habibah, and thank you for your wonderful presentation, Diba. Right.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a short break. We are going to prepare the forum session afterwards. Just 5 minutes break. I notice some of you have yet to open the food and eat. Feel free to consume whatever in front of you. Alright, at any point. Okay, so we'll take 5. Just for your information, the restroom, toilet is on your left and right side. For your right side, women is this level, men is downstairs. Right? On the left, both men and women. Okay, cool. Right, enjoy your meal. Just so you know, this is not for lunch. This is just breakfast. Okay, lunch will be separate. Okay, thank you so much. 5-minute break.
Testing. Testing mic 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Alright, forum speakers, you feel free to take your seats on the stage, please. We still have 3 minutes though. Huh? You can follow as per photo. Yes.
Testing, testing. Okay. Testing. Okay. All good.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start. It's already 5 minutes, more or less. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our forum session will be about technology in education, in science and mathematics education, and special education needs. The moderator for this session is Dr. Nantini Jayaram, Education Specialist of Senior Exam. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hand over the session to Dr. Nan for the forum session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nizam. And very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to our plenary session today. So, I'm Dr. Nantini Jayaram, and I will be the moderator for today's session. So, our plenary session will be entitled Education in the Digital Age, Exploring Rights, Inclusivity and Efficiency. So, this plenary session is a part of the national launch of the 2023 GEM report in Malaysia, which emphasized the transformative potential of technology in education. So, while digital infrastructure in education has expanded significantly, as we see from Dr. Siba's presentation, the report highlights that it is still premature to claim that technology has fully transformed the sector. So, in Southeast Asia, a region renowned for its diversity, challenges such as digital inequalities and varying level of teachers' preparedness persist. So today our discussion will be focusing on two major aspects, which is the integration of ICT in teaching and learning, and also how technology can be a game changer for students with special needs. So before we begin, let me introduce our distinguished panelists for today. So we have two panelists from Simiosan representing Simiosan, and we have two more panelists representing Senior Exam. So on my right hand side here is Associate Professor Husnisa Husni. So Dr. Husnisa Husni is an Associate Professor and Deputy Dean at the Research and Innovation at University Utara Malaysia School of Computing. And she specializes in human-computer interaction and AI, particularly for children with special needs and with learning differences like dyslexia and autism. So Dr. Husnisa's award-winning book and research have advanced the role of technology in addressing diverse learning needs. Welcome Dr. Husnisa to Rexel, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we have Dr. Muhammad Azli Sani bin Muhammad Jalil. So Dr. Muhammad Azli Sani is the Deputy Director of Simiosan, and his passion for inclusive education stems from personal experience, driving his effort to develop and implement programs for children with disabilities. So Dr. Azlis works closely with educators and policymakers across Southeast Asia to promote best practices in inclusive education, ensuring no learners is left behind. Thank you for being with us today, Dr. Azlis, and welcome to Senior Exam. Next, we have our very own Dr. Varabon Prichabon, an educational specialist from Maths from Senior Exam. She has over than 26 years of experience as an educator and researcher. So her expertise lies in computational thinking, dynamic mathematics softwares like GeoGebra and Scratch, and problem-based learning approaches. So Dr. Vara has contributed significantly to integrating ICT in science and mathematics education, presenting her research globally. Thanks for being with us today, Dr. Vara. And next, we have Dr. Mageswaran Shanmugam. Dr. Mageswaran is the Deputy Director of Research, Innovation and Networking at University Science Malaysia's Center for Instructional Technology and Multimedia. So with a rich background in educational technology and management, he has pioneered research in gamification, game-based learning and AI for education. Dr. Mageswaran has authored over 80 scholarly articles driving innovation in technology and enhanced learning. So welcome Dr. Mageswaran and thanks for being with us today. So with such a wealth of expertise on our panel, we are all set to explore the critical theme for today. So please join me in giving a warm round of applause to welcome our panelists today. Now before we start, we encourage you to engage with our session. So a QR code for submitting your questions via Slido will now appear on the screens. And please scan the QR code and feel free to send your questions throughout the discussion. And we will address the questions during the Q&A session later. Now, Dr. Vara, so the JAM 2023 report highlights a significant disparity. So as we just viewed from the summary of the report, we noted that urban primary school students are nearly twice as likely to have home internet access compared to their rural counterpart. So in senior countries, bridging this digital divide is essential to ensure equitable access to education. So could you share your perspective on this, Dr. Vara?
Thank you very much, Dr. Natini, and also a very good morning to everyone. Then this one is a very interesting question to repeat the result, the report of the JAM report. For the first thing first, I would like to share from the perspective of the senior exam. In the senior exam, the important role of the Southeast Asian country. First, the role of the senior exam is to get to train the teacher in science and mathematics. It's very important that Dr. Abiba mentioned that the teacher very important, and also the teacher make a difference for the children. Then we talking about the result from the JAM report. When we mention about equity, the equity is we talking about the equity for the teacher in Southeast Asia that nominated from each country. This is the equity for Southeast Asian country to come to train in the senior exam process. Then when you get the teacher, the first thing first, we have to train them for three aspects. Number one is access to technology. Some of the teachers from diversified countries, especially some countries from Laos, PDR, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Timor-Leste, they get the lack of the potential to access the technology. Number two, we are going to mention and to train the teacher on the ability to use technology. This is very important, how they can use the technology in the classroom. Especially we apply technology is not everything. Technology is the tool to support the teaching and learning for teacher and for the student to learn. And also the teacher when they going back from the courses in senior exam, they confident for using technology. This is the equity for the senior exam to support the teacher in Southeast Asia. How do we know they confident? At the end of the course, we are going to get the proposal from the teacher. they plan for disseminate the idea, the experience in female exam to their own country. This when we mention about equity for female exam to support the teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vara. And Dr. Vara has simplified how senior exams plays a role in enabling the teachers for accessing the technology when once they come to trainings with us, and when they go back, how it's feasible for them to able to practice with that. So talking about accessibility, now let's hear from Dr. Hazlis. So Dr. Hazlis, many Southeast Asian countries has developed laws and guidelines on assistive technology to remove education barriers for students with disabilities. So there are still many students with disabilities face challenges in accessing digital learning resources. So Dr. Azlis, how does this resonate in Malaysia's challenges? Could you share your perspective on this?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Participants of this forum, and thank you for inviting us today. Means I'm referring to your questions regarding the challenges for students with disability in accessing digital learning resources. When we started with this report, at first we look at the term, theme of this report is a tool on whose terms. So for learners with disability, when we at the beginning when we think about the digital learning resources, digital learning material for them, is quite hard for us to find on how we can report on this. So among us, when we start the report or to write the report, thank you for UNESCO and Senior Secretariat. We are very honored to be part of the writing this report for GEM. And when we before we go to the learning resources, digital resources, digital learning. So for the learners with disability, actually the main thing is the assistive technologies that help them to be able. So because for the assistive technology, in our report we reported that AT or assistive technology is the devices or technology that can be used to facilitate people with disability or learners with disability to overcome their disability and improve their quality of life. So before we can go for the digital learning, digital material, so we need to assist them with the technology so that they can or they able to enjoy the technology. So for example, the simplest technology is this, the spectacles. If I remove my spectacles, I cannot read. So that's the simplest technology that near me today. So same goes to the learners with disability. They need something to assist them. Okay, they need devices, they need technology, they need maybe platform for them to be able to learn. Okay, so for the major challenges when we gone through all 6 countries in our report, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, and also Vietnam. The major challenges is the inequality of access to assistive technology. Just now, Dr. Wara also mentioned about the equity and access to the assistive technology. And among the factors that includes, first is affordability, awareness, inadequate products, lack of funding, and also stigma. This is reported by WHO and UNICEF in 2022. And for limited access to technology, learners with disability or people with disability uh, encounters barriers due to limited availability and also accessibility of AD or accessible technology devices and services, especially in rural areas. Just now, Dato also mentioned about the disparity, about the challenges, especially in the rural areas, where some of us the infrastructure is inadequate. And for Malaysia, for example, uh, the report in 2018 mentioned about 30% of learners with disability, only 30% of learners with disability have access to the accessible technology. So we have remaining another 70% that do not have access to this assistive technology. And of course, it's related to the budget, okay, insufficient funding, okay, because of that, maybe we put lack of up-to-date assistive technology to the uh, learners with disability or people with disability. And inaccessibility of online platform when COVID-19 struck us, okay, I believe all the teachers, the KPPK from here, you have headache, right, during that time on how to teach student in PPKI, in Sekolah Pendidikan Khas, okay, first using the technology. In fact, even though we are in the classroom, the physical classroom, also we facing challenges. But how about the online classes? Right? It's very challenging to the teachers, to the school, okay, to the administrators. So even though they have the platform, but yet the educating process is also really challenging. Okay. And the last point is about lack of awareness and understanding of the benefit of the assistive technology among general public, and insufficient knowledge and training, and also the cultural and language barriers. I would like to share experience, Simiosen own experience when during the pandemic when we organized international conference on special education back in 2021, where we have quite expensive platform. Okay, um, that time we have to do using online platform, and we received one very important email from one participant from Thailand. Okay, she mentioned that she cannot navigate our platform. She cannot browse through the platform, even though the platform is so canggih, sophisticated platform, but she cannot browse. She's blind, so she cannot browse the platform, and it really is an eye opener for Simiosen to ensure that our digital material, our resources, we try our best to ensure that our material is accessible and also can be used for all, not only for people with disability, but for other learners. And we we really emphasize on the universal design. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Azlis. And I think the data that you have mentioned, that only 30% currently has the access to this technology, I think that's a big gap there, and I'm sure that as what you mentioned, Senior Sen is working a lot on how to close the gaps as well. But Dr. Azlis, would you like to add anything on that?
Yes, we try our best to close the gap, and also together with other
Other
institutions.
Yes.
Okay, for example, with UKM, University of South Asia, where we try to promote on how to how how the students and also the teachers, also the caregivers, to manage their hearing aid. So it's part of the technology. So in order to do that, we try our best from uh, conventional explaining by the therapists or audiologists, we convert it into the video. So that's our try our effort to help and narrow down together.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your effort, the Senior Sense initiative on this, Doctor. Now, building on the issues of access, so let's now shift to teachers' readiness. So, Dr. Mageswaran, the JAM report highlights the importance of teachers' readiness in integrating ICT effectively into the classroom. So, could you share some policies that have shown promises in supporting teachers' training for these purposes?
Okay, thank you. Thank you to Dr. Nandini, the moderator. Thank you for inviting me. Okay, before I go into that question, just now I heard something very interesting about the student with disabilities, right? So during COVID, yeah, I did face one issue where, yes, we had technology to continue teaching, but then when there are students with disabilities, we had to prepare something extra. Okay, yes, we did WebEx recording, but then the class is 2 hours, 2 hours, So it's and you add some assignments together with the class, right? So you see the student. I had one student who she was blind, and she was supported by her brother. Actually helped her, with the notes and everything, explaining to her. Then that kind of like made me think like, okay, yes, technology exists, but we still need pedagogy to support us. So as a teacher, we had to think, okay, how are we going to make life easy for the student and learning easy for her? So I had to cut down on I had to re-record the lesson, and share with her. So that was something that I faced. And another thing that I faced was, I think this is related to the ruler question earlier. Technology cannot replace teachers. The normal traditional classroom still has to exist, and humanity need to exist. Okay, that's the reality. Okay, because another incident when I was during this COVID, we faced very weird cases and scenarios. So there was, classes were done online, and we were communicating with students through WhatsApp. So I was a teacher in primary, and then went to secondary, and then went into university. So 3 different scenarios lah. So sometimes you you see some students are lazy, some students are naughty, and at the university level, yes, the compassion is there, but we semester is like 6 months. We chase after a timeline. You don't send your assignment in a certain time period, then you get a 0 marks. So there was this one student. She attended the class, but assignment was late, and then there was one assignment, huge assignment that she had to submit, where she didn't submit. So that's where if you are 100% dependent on technology, we would have said, okay, the due date is up. I'm going to give you 0. That's it. But something triggered me. This is where perhaps the experience as a teacher, as a primary school teacher, secondary school teacher, there must be something wrong. So I tried to contact the student via WhatsApp, because WhatsApp group, they are shy to share their problem. They don't reply, and then I called her. Then when I called and I talked to her, I said, why you didn't send your assignment? It's due. Why you never upload? Do you have problem with internet? She kept quiet. What is the issue? Then she finally broke down and said, Doctor, I have no time. I said, what do you mean? During COVID, both my parents lost their job. Now I'm helping them sell nasi lemak. I don't have time. So it was like, oh, okay. What am I gonna do? So that's where if you're 100% dependent on technology, gone 0. So I said, okay, fine. I'm gonna give you 4 days. That's the cut-off time lah, for us as lecturers to submit the report. And we as a teacher, as an educator, had to be the apa orang kata penting terakhir lah. You have to fight with the management and the admin and say, okay, hold on, give this student some chance, you know. And then surprisingly, she did the job, you know, because she thought she was left behind. You know, I think you touched something about some students left behind, right? So she thought she was left behind. No one is bothered about her. But when we gave her the chance and we dig a little bit about what's happening, then she did it and she passed and she graduated. Thank God. You know? So sorry, I tersasul sikit. Okay.
Yeah.
Now back to.
Thanks for sharing your experiences, Doctor. But we would love to know
Okay,
more on
policies.
the
Okay, policies.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
back to policies. All right. So I'll touch a little bit about policies international and how things are happening international, and a little bit about Malaysia. All right. So looking through policy, I found one policy which is which supports teacher a lot, which is the UNESCO ICT competency framework for teachers. Okay. What I find interesting about this is they look into three phases. Okay. One is pre-service training. Okay. Teachers who are training, they have to go through focus on preparation, on pedagogy, okay, subject knowledge, how they're going to manage classroom, okay, in current day age where digital is everything. Then we have the in-service training, okay, where after you go to work, you're still being supported, okay, you're offered structured face-to-face and distance learning opportunities, all right. Then ongoing support is continuous support where we can, you know, they have a team that they can refer to. Okay, so this is an interesting framework of policy that I think I left schooling in 2014, but last time, yes, pre-service learning was training was there. I still remember when I was in I4B, now it's Mantap Perguruan, right? Okay, so yes, what we learned in school was in Mantap was up to date, database. Those things were very, very difficult. We learned that, and even though we didn't use it, we can still remember till this day. No? And then during service, yes, BPD, JPN, they did you know, activities that kind of sustained and supported what we learned. But then what we call that ongoing support exists, but I think we need to make it more. Okay, but I'm not sure what's happening now, but I would prefer, like, you know, technology progresses very fast nowadays. Like ChatGPT, I think every 3 months, 4 months, there's a new one coming up soon. So perhaps we need to think about, you know, looking into 3 months once, meeting up online, or even someone putting up some videos, okay, to share what is the changes that is happening in technology nowadays and how we as educators can make use of it. All right. Next is about another interesting one that I found is OER for schools. Okay, this was developed by University of Cambridge. All right. So this is a development initiative for sub-Saharan Africa. But what is similar and what is good about this is you know, they create videos, okay, videos of how interactive practices can be done in African classes. Okay, and another important thing that I'm not sure we have it actively here in Malaysia is open educational resources where we share our notes and everything, you know, to everyone to access, right? So that is something good. Because, for example, not about notes, last time they had an initiative where they said, okay, let's bring in best teachers from around Malaysia and ask them to teach, and then let's record it and share with others. You know, but the hiccups that they faced at that time was teachers in classroom are different, but in front of camera it's difficult, right? Okay, so the oomph factor was lost when that happened, you know. Yeah, I met some of the teachers who were involved in that. I think it was under that ministry. The fear factor kicks into play. Yeah, even I faced some scenarios when I was teaching. There were a few weird cases where, sorry to say weird, there were sometimes parents come into the class. I don't know if anyone faced it or not. There was once I was using Kahoot to teach. The student shared the knowledge, shared that I'm using this in classroom. So the message conveyed by the student was teacher is using games in class. So the parents thought teacher is playing games and not teaching. So the father came in and sat at the back. Teacher, I want to see you teach. And he was holding the phone up throughout the lesson. So it was actually fun and terrifying at the same time, you know. So, but thank God at the end of it, it's like, okay, oh teacher, now I understand what he meant by game. Okay, so that is perhaps, you know, those recordings can be shared somewhere, put somewhere in a database that can be looked into. Another thing is interesting policy international is done in India called Kite Kerala, okay, the Kerala Infrastructure Technology for Education Initiative. All right. So here also the same thing is yes, they have statewide ICT training, and they created educational channel, okay, channel to share what was being done in Kerala, and I think Kerala is one of the top states in India when it comes to proficiency in technology, yeah? Right? And okay, sorry, I'm talking a lot. Okay, okay. In Malaysia, yes, we have the Smart School Initiative, which was launched in 1999, which was actually a good catalyst to where we are now. You know, which led to the Malaysian Education Blueprint, to the Digital Education Policy, and currently the Strategic Education Plan. Where we are focusing on improving access to quality education and digital education, and last but not least, CPD, continuous professional development. Okay, that is a policy we must have, must continue, and must sustain and retain always. All right, that's all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Dr. Magistharan, for sharing with us your very interesting experiences and also highlighting the current policies that is in practice for pre-service, in-service and ongoing teachers. And as Dr. Mageshwaran has highlighted that more services need to be enhanced for the teachers actually. Now moving on to Dr. Husniza. So Dr. Husniza, as mentioned in the JAM report, assistive technologies like digital braille textbooks have played a crucial role in supporting visually impaired students in Malaysia. So could you provide an overview of other assistive technologies currently in place to enhance inclusive education?
Alright, thank you, Dr. Nan. Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning to my fellow speakers and the fellow, I would say, advocates for inclusive education in Malaysia and also in senior countries. Thank you for having me. So I'll jump straight to answering your question, Dr. Nan. As we know, the inclusive education is about creating a safe environment where everybody, every child, regardless of the diversities, regardless of the disabilities or abilities, could come together and learn and success together with the good support. So assistive technology plays an important role to provide this support. Now, coming from human-centered computing myself, where AI is the backbone of any innovation that we currently research, I'll jump back to the spectacles example by Dr. Azli. Spectacles we are, apparently the four of us are slightly visual impaired because we can't read if we lose our glasses. So these are example of very low-tech assistive technology, and if you are teaching dysgraphic children with dysgraphia, so you might need to have a pencil grip. So you put the grip on the pencil so that you are assisting them on how it is to hold the pencil correctly, because they will damage their wrist because they tend to hold it like this, or hold it, no, that's the correct one, or hold it like this. So that will impose other challenges for the children to write better. And also, those are very simple technology, very low tech, just like for the braille books that you mentioned, and also the canes, the long canes for the visually impaired, especially the blind, to move around. So there are also another category which is tech assistive technology that are current existing technologies such as calculator, but we imposed or we add on into the function of calculator. For example, we add on voice. So when the visually impaired press the numbers, so it knows, he or she knows that he's pressing whatever calculation that he's intended to do. So that is the mid-pack assistive technology, which is available, that you can purchase. It's slightly more expensive than the low-tech ones that we have. And then we come to the high-tech assistive technology. Now these are awesome. I know some of the educators are very skeptical about AI, but coming from AI myself, I would say that yes, AI can be a disruptive technology, but it offers a glimpse of, not just a glimpse, a lot of other future jobs that is going to impact disabilities, persons with disabilities, and also the neurotypical peers themselves. For example, we have currently, that is, I would say, a matured technology, is the text-to-speech, where it converts text into speech, right? So that will be assisting probably the visually impaired, probably the learners with disabilities like dyslexia, autism spectrum disorder. And also we have, now it's popular in the computing field, brain-computer interfaces, where it translates your brain signals into something that is comprehensible to the computers, to then relay back to the human, to the users, to the people. So that helps. For example, in Japan, this technology enables the PWDs, to those who are immobilized, paralyzed. They can only move their eyes, and then they can only think. They are able to think, so they can still control some information services that are going on to give support to other people from on their bed. So it gives them some income while they are just lying on bed because they are immobilized, but they can gain some independence and improve their quality of life, hopefully. And also we have gaze technology, eye gazing technology using eye tracker, where this is especially useful for, subhanallah, what is that called? The one that is sitting on the chair and they cannot move everything, only the eye can move. Yeah, cerebral palsy. Yes, thank you. So you can actually enable these people who have CP to actually interact with the surrounding and also interact with other people, because they can type using the eye gaze. We provide the digital keyboard, and they can just gaze at the numbers, and the eye tracker can, retrieve where exactly the eye is looking at and then type in for them. So these are the assistive technologies that are expensive, of course. That's going to cost a lot of deal, but it is helping people with disabilities to change their life and gain more independence, while they are also struggling and facing challenges in this. I would say the world is not designed for them. So we are here to, I would say, change the community, you change the world through design. Through design of curriculum, like Dr. mentioned, the design of technology, and to make sure that these technology are effective for this group of people, we need to follow some principles in human-computer interaction, in interaction design. There's also, I echo what I have written we have written in the GEM report, there's also universal design and inclusive design, which you can dive into or Google them up. They are different, but often confused with each other because they serve different, they serve the same purpose. So if you are designing technologies for these special needs people or for PWDs, you really need to put them at the center, which is the heart and motivation of human-centered computing that we are advocating right now for Malaysia to go towards this when the AI is booming again. So that we can design specific technologies to address specific issues for these particular specific needs of these individuals. And if you follow the principles of universal design, you're actually not only designing for these people with disabilities, but it can benefit other people as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, for example, the curbside, that was meant for persons with wheelchair on the curbside of the road. But look, we are enjoying that as well. We can still walk, but I still choose to walk the path where it is the curb. So the mums with trolleys or shopping carts, you know, we will choose that. Cyclists will choose to use the curbside as well. So you're designing a beneficial thing, a product or technology for everybody. So that concludes the answer for you, Dr. Nan.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Husnisa, for sharing a very interesting applications at the moment. So from both low tech and also to high tech, I think we have discussed about the policies, we have discussed about the accessibility, and we have also discussed about some of the available technology. Now we all are talking about technologies, but do we have ever wondered about how the technology has evolved over the time? So now it's time for us to sit back and enjoy a video on the evolution of technology. So let's watch together.
The history of technology in education. Let's begin. of Torah.
Well, that's a very short video clip that shows how the technology has evolved over the time and where we are now. So now we have a very small exercise for all of you. Like, I'm sure that all of us would have gone through this period of exchange or evolution of technology. So we're going to share the QR code of a Mentimeter, and we're going to request all the participants to share your experiences with us. So can we get the QR code to share? Yeah, please scan the QR and share your experiences with us. Talking about tech experiences during back in our school days, maybe we have some memories that we can't forget, right? So Dr. Azlis, would you like to share what is your unforgettable experience when you was back in your school actually?
I was introduced to computer when I was Form 1 in 1991, and then I had to attend computer class, and I need to do the simple programming using DOS, and just a line of text. So I asked the teacher, why I need to do this? It's only one line, and then the next class also another line. So I can't understand why I need to learn that. So until I was Form 4, so I tried. We started to use the Macintosh to write the text. So I think that's the very early stage of me learning about it. I think it's okay. It's okay, but I still remember I keep questioning the teacher why I need to learn that. That's because I cannot see the output from that, and I feel very hard because you need to use the floppy disk to put inside everything, right? I think when the Microsoft found everything, then I start to realize, oh, this is the use of the
Thanks for sharing your experience with us, Dr. Azlis. Now, let's hear from Dr. Husniza. So, what was your experience actually? So, while you can see that our experiences, sharing of experiences, basically asking you all to choose on what are the most unforgettable technological things that they've used. So, it's comprised of OHP, typewriters, personal computers, and also chalkboards, and also cassette players. So, Dr. Husniza, what was your experience actually?
I think the same with Dr. Azlis. When I was in Form 1 in 1993, that was the first encounter with, I was in the computer club, and every week we have this activity in the club, and what we do is just writing commands. The line that Dr. Azlis mentioned is the command actually to tell computers what to do. So you need to actually memorize, because the user interface is not graphical user interface that we are currently using. So if you are a word star, I remember it's the word processor. I saw the gentleman over there. Probably we are the same age of probably the baby boomers, I guess. That was fun and interesting, but kind of like stressful, because I have like this thick of book to write down all the commands in which I don't remember, and if you want to delete anything, you just have to imagine how the text is going to look like on, like, in the word that we have right now, and then delete something, and then yeah, you just have to use a lot of imagination before the graphical user interfaces are being introduced or designed. But luckily we have Gen Alpha at schools with very intuitive skills of using technology. Like my
my youngest son when he was a baby, 3 months old. I still remember. Back then my husband was still using the Nokia tiga sepang ke apa, what you call that, right? The one that you can just throw and then pick it up and it still works. So my husband was using that and I'm using sebab apalah konon-konon technologies kan. So my baby at 3 months old, whenever he was handed or whenever he get a grasp of my husband's phone, he will hold it like this. So he will intuitively do this to hold it. But when we give our phone, or when he see my mobile, he'll go like this. He changed. So the way they are, I don't know, built inside the womb is already designed to be, to be digital native, because at 3 months nobody's telling him how you're supposed to interact. So that's always fascinated me.
Thanks, Dr. Nisa. That was very interesting. So, how about Dr. Vara? What was your unforgettable experience?
When we talking about the technology, maybe I'm trace back to my time, because of the wonderful thing is when I be the participant in senior exam at the first time, then the wonderful thing is the facilitator use overhead projector. Anybody in the audience experience with the overhead projector?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes,
you
me
will
too.
see many. This the very advanced technology that I facing at the time. Then the teacher prepare the transparency, and then the teacher take the effort to draw, to copy the text.
Yes.
Then and also show on the screen. That's very wonderful thing that I learned from senior exam.
Yes, and but the sad part is when I was doing my masters, my professor still used to write, very fast notes on the transparency, and she will quickly remove it. So we don't even have a chance to, copy the thing. So that's a very unforgettable experience for me as well. So now let's hear from Dr. Mageswaran. Would you like to share your experience with us on this?
Hello. Okay.
Okay.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay. I think my experience started in I think it was 1989 when I was in Standard 1. So in my school, I think the school SK Batulancang nearby here. Only Standard 4 students are allowed to go and learn computers. But what I used to do was I used to loiter outside the computer lab until the teacher called me, and then I said, "Teacher, can I help you do something in the lab?" So I was the teacher's pet, but he didn't allow me to use the PC. So I was cleaning the lab and everything, and then suddenly one day I saw him using DOS, and he taught me. Then somehow or other, I don't know how, I learned how to play. There was a game called Bugs, I think. Bugs in DOS, So I learned to play Bugs in the PC lah. So I started getting addicted to games 35 years ago lah. Till this day I'm doing. So that's my experience. Right.
Thank you, Doctor. And I think all of us would have had some experience back in our school days. So let's look at our poll results. So the highest vote is for the chalkboards, where it has also been some weapons for teachers when we did something and then the duster will just fly to us. I don't know how many of us would have had that experience. And it followed by the OHP, and next highest experience with the personal computer, where it would take hours and hours to boot, right? So I think this would have bring us back to our school days and rekindle back of some of the technologies that we have used, and we can see how the technology has evolved over the year and where we are now. So with that, let us move back to our session today. So now, Dr. Vara, in Malaysia, The Smart School project has increased access to education for students in rural area through virtual classes. So how can education technology improve learners' engagement, particularly in underserved areas?
Yes, thank you very much for uh, critical question also. Because of nowadays, we talking about the smart school, the program that make the students smarter, and also we don't forget to the student in the rural area, the place that they have a few teachers teach the student, or the school that lack of the infrastructure. So for the senior exam context, we also prepare for this group for we call the indigenous school. Then we have the program to bring our staff to visit this kind of school. We call the school in Sungai Tiang. We provide the material, we provide some certain devices for the children, and also the following before the COVID, and also after that, the school also have the idea to bring the student to our center.
Yes.
Then we organize the activity for the student. They are very smart students, but they lack of the qualified teacher. They lack of the infrastructure. They lack of the material to learn. They are very active students. They are in the primary level. So we provide the computer, donated the computer that we we have some of the PC, some of personal computer to give to the school to support. And also another example that we have one of my participants from Thailand. They are in the remote area, and also at least he said in the family they have only one handphone, so they adapt the handphone to be the learning tools for them in the classroom. Then they use the uncommercial software, because of when they attend the courses in senior exam, we encourage the facilitator to use uncommercial software, free software for them, so that when they go back to their own country, they able to use that software, and also they able to use offline. Even though they don't have the internet, because of we focus on the thinking and learning, not the we purchase the software very expensive, but we focus on the learning, teaching and learning. So that is one very successful. After that, we use that idea, and he able to submit the paper to our journal, and also the journal in Indonesia. This one is one of the some of the example that we try to support the teacher, even though they lack of the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bara. Thanks for highlighting on how senior exam is also playing role in helping the indigenous community and inclusions to access to technologies. So now let's move on with Dr. Azlis. So policies play a pivotal role in accessibility. So how do Malaysia's digital policies address the unique needs of students with disabilities, ensuring no one is left behind?
thank you again, Dr. Nandini, regarding the digital policy that import in Malaysia. Um, if we go back to the United Nations blueprint adopted in 2015 regarding the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, which is outlining 17 goals. One of the goals is SDG 4, which is quality education, and this goal establish 10 targets pursuing inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, so including for learners with disability. So aspiring from this blueprint, Malaysia has outlined numerous laws, policies and guidelines related to PWDs. If we can see in the report, we listed 9 policy, laws and also guidelines that established in Malaysia, and I think it's more than that. Just to name a few, for example, Person with Disability Act 2008, Malaysia Education Blueprint, and also we have Garis Panduan Norma Peralatan dan Bahan Sokongan Pembelajaran Pendidikan khas 2023, and then we have a checklist for inclusive readiness of students with special needs or disability. So all these policy guidelines and also legislation, even though it's not stated digital policy, but anyhow, as mentioned, we need to adapt this policy and also legislation with the needs to the technology nowadays. So any part of the policies need to be adapted, and then we need to see on the necessity of the needs of the maybe on the legislation and also regarding the technology. And for if we would like to have a comprehensive digital policy, so we also reported in this GEM report, we need to come up with a framework of action, and where this digital policy need to provide a clear and consistent framework for action that address the needs, especially for PWDs. So, and ensuring that their rights are protected. So, and also we need to promote inclusion. Every time we always heard about inclusivity, inclusion. So this policy need to facilitate this inclusion or inclusivity by outlining the guideline for educational institution to implement practices that support students with disability. And also, as I mentioned before, about the accessibility to the assistive technology. So, in this framework or in this digital policy that we may have, need to mandate provision for access to assistive technology and helping to leverage the advancements of the technology for inclusive education. And with this policy, if we have this policy or adopted or adapted policy and legislation that we have, we need to train the teachers. Okay. So the digital policy is emphasizing the importance of training educators, equipping them with the skills of effectively use technology and assistive technology. As we do the exercise just now, right? So we can see how the technology is advancing from year to year, and in fact we also experience the advancements of technology, like Dr. Vera mentioned previously. She experienced, she think that OHP is the best technology that time. Okay, yeah, same goes to everyone, I think. So anyhow, we need to teach. I think just now Dato also mentioned when the teachers need to be trained with the latest technology. All the seniors okay, need to be trained with the latest technology. In fact, myself also, I have a problem with Prezi, with the AI, so I need to catch up with that things. And also related to the resources, okay, we need to allocate the allocation for the resources for implementing inclusive education practices. And the last but not least is about the advocacy and awareness. We also would like to share Simeo Sense experience where Simeo Sense involved in the national policy of just now Dr. Magesh mentioned about OER. But for Simeo Sense, we have I, we add on another I. It's inclusive open educational resources. It's a national policy by Ministry of Higher Education, Malaysia. So this is the first policy about inclusive OER in the world. So for Simeo Sense, we are on board together for championing this national policy of on IOER on how to develop, to prepare accessible material, and but not limited to learners with disabilities. So OER part is about the Creative Commons licensing, about the copywriting, about the copyright materials. So we want to protect the teachers from copy other illegal material. So we try to promote on that OER part plus the inclusive part. So inclusive is accessible. So we provide, just now the Kusnila mentioned about text to speech read, and then screen reader. So when we prepare the material, the digital material, so the assistive technology can read the material. Okay? So for Simeo Sense, we try our best, and then we are in the process of developing a manual to help teachers, to help caregivers on preparing the digital material for the usage of the for the benefit of everyone, including the learners. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Azlis, for sharing with us the existing policies and also the resources and the need for the awareness. So I think this would have definitely enlightened some of our questions as well. Now, moving on to Dr. Mageswaran. So, Dr. Mageswaran, as highlighted in GEM report, collaboration with various stakeholders is essential for developing education technology plans. So, could you share example of successful partnership between governments and tech companies that have helped to improve digital learning resources?
Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to try to dig in and find out what is actually happening in Malaysia, what is going to happen in Malaysia. So it seems that Google is coming in to invest 2 billion to set up first data center, okay, a Google Cloud Hub in Malaysia. So this is so-called to enhance cloud services and AI education, which aligns with Malaysia's cloud first policy. And Microsoft also committed in April roughly around 2.2 billion to develop a cloud AI infrastructure to establish a national AI center and provide AI training for 3,000 Malaysians. So to be honest, the issue I have with these two companies are one from the company, right? So to be honest, they are coming in and they are bringing their product, and we are not innovators, we are users. So that's a sad thing that is happening there, because once I was going through some of the things that's happening in other places, like for example in US, these companies are coming from US, but US has a different type of partnership. Okay, the partnership of global inclusivity on AI, they call it PGIAI. They brought together, of course, their department state, Amazon, Anthropic, Google, IBM, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, OpenAI. They are all rivals. So they bring them together, so there is like no one company going to take advantage. Okay, Okay, so that's going to allow competition, and that is going to allow people to actually learn, be innovators. Okay, because they have a goal, looking into computing, increasing AI models, looking into capacity building, technical capacity, and contacts on expanding local data sets. So you see the difference with what's happening there and here. So we have to be a little bit careful. And one sad thing that didn't happen in Malaysia is when Tesla promised to come in and they didn't come in. Okay, so Tesla is just not about the car, Elon Musk is also going into many different fields. So just now we're talking about brain-computer interaction. So he is one of the pioneers, right? He's started testing out with, I think, war veterans who lost, so they can, use their brain to communicate with computers, and they play games, video game. It's not just typing. So it's like, wow, okay. And besides that, Starlink. Starlink is the internet that uses the satellite. That, if we can use it vastly in Malaysia, especially in Sabah, Sarawak, rural areas, that'll be great. But I heard it's in unofficially, but I'm not sure why it's not being implemented, in a bigger manner. So that would be great. And of course, Elon Musk also is into SpaceX, and we are so-called in the future, we want to go into space also, right? So that, I feel that is unfortunate missed opportunity lah. So I hope Malaysia can do something about it, because to be honest, Indonesia is just waiting. Oh, sorry, anyone from Indonesia? Sorry. Okay, Indonesia is just waiting to grab the opportunity, because initially, we need to salute our Prime Minister. Initially, Elon Musk promised to go to Indonesia first. Then somehow he managed to convince, and something happened, and I don't know. It's politics. We don't know. So but if they come in, that will be great. That will be great. All right, and then I think I'll make it short, so later I'll have some more. Right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mageshwaran, for sharing your opinions on this actually. So the last question is for Dr. Husniza. So Dr. Husniza, while assistive technologies exist, so integrating them into mainstream classroom remains a challenge. So how can assistive technology be better integrated into mainstream classrooms to support inclusions?
Thank you, Dr. Nan. I'm not going to echo what my fellow speakers have mentioned about teacher training. There's a lot of initiatives going on. In UUM, inshallah, next year we are gearing ahead fiercely for AI empowered educators, targeting the teachers in Kedah, inshallah. Probably we can come to Penang as well. And also, when you're talking about integrating assistive technology, be it low-tech, mid-tech, or even high-tech, if we can afford it, that would be great, right? The first thing that we are currently lacking, I think, in our communities is the ability to design. We don't have that, because in our environment or in our school system, if you're doing science, then you have to do science. You can't relate yourself with arts and stuff. So you need creative side in order to innovate, like Dr. mentioned just now. We are lacking innovators. That's why we are the consumers. But we need someone or some organization to spearhead this effort of designing our assistive technology to meet the specific needs of our local content and users, and also how it is best to design the curriculum, to design the guideline and policies, like Dr. Aziz mentioned just now. How do we integrate all these things? So we are talking about teacher training. Okay, so how do we teach teachers to use AI in the context of our schools, in the mainstream education, where internet connection is very limited, especially in the rural areas. So how do you want to tap on that issue? Is very wicked problem. If coming from my field, we call it wicked problem because we need, well, the key thing is funding. Somebody has to give us more fund so that we can actually do more work to serve our community, to start designing. And when I've met with a lot of special education teachers, or probably in schools, in private schools, in sekolah kebangsaan, they are truly designing low technology, assistive technology. They are very creative because they are always finding ways on how to solve or how to bridge the gap in terms of learning for these children at school. I myself has an autistic Asperger child, and he is now 18, and Lord, do I struggle. Subhanallah, mashallah, I struggled a lot. Why? Because I couldn't, my teachers couldn't, his pediatrician couldn't identify what is wrong with him and that he cannot survive in our education system. Because our education system is designed, or it's not practically designed, we just happen to do this in our neurotypical ways that we neglect the specific needs of this neurodivergence. Alhamdulillah, he's surviving, he's doing well, he's doing mechatronics right now at GMI, but I struggled, and there are so many of these children. The numbers are increasing because the parents and teachers' awareness are increasing. So well done to KPM, well done to Simio, even Simio Sen, for advocating. And we need to continue advocating, and we need to emphasize how we can learn to come together, put our conflicts or interests, personal things aside, come together and design so that we can build better community. It starts with our education. That though it's really the backbone of everything if our generation truly needs it. Because our younger generation, the digital native, they are visual learners. They're not text-based like us. They go crazy if we ask them to read. My autistic Asperger's son, he is visual and also kinesthetic. So I read sejarah textbook, and he will jump around, running around. It seems to us that he's not paying attention. So in school, how do you do that? You cannot run because you'll be scolded by teachers, right? But that's how he learned best to survive in school, which is really painful. And there are more of these children coming. And if I can recall during my PhD days, we can still find children with only dyslexia as learning disabilities. But right now, like my PhD student, Miss Emmy, will encounter various comorbidities among these children. So I do not have the exact answer how to better integrate. But what we can do is we can advocate teachers, we can start to redesign, relearn, unlearn, relearn, yeah? And then we have to also start to empathize more with this group of children because they are our future generation. And usually these group of children, PWDs, regardless of disabilities, they have equal opportunities actually, and they have the equal IQ capacities to excel. I taught a mute girl and also deaf as well. I also taught crippled student in UUM, so I have to spend more time and I have to search for technologies that I can use to facilitate me. So usually after class I would spend an extra hour explaining to the deaf girl using Telegram chatbot because it can translate text to speech to text, and also for these crippled I still remember his name. His name is Tendabani. I'm not sure where he is right now, but both of them were doing really well. They have dean's list most of the semesters, so they are not restricted by their disabilities. And so we need to design our environment to be inclusive, accessible, so that we can provide them and opportunities to change their life for the better. That's what we have to do right now. Sounds so heavy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Husnisa, for sharing your experiences and also your concerns on how we can make this become here. Now, let's move on to our Q&A session. So we now open the floor to your questions, and due to time constraint, so we will address some of the selected questions from our audience today. And the first question for today is for Dr. Azlis. What are the challenges faced by senior SEN in the implementation of technology in teaching and learning among the learners with various type of impairment? So our audience would like to know the challenges from you, Doctor.
It's also challenging for me to answer this question because in Malaysia we have 6 types of disability. For KPM or MOE, it's listed as 6, but for other countries, maybe more. So the category of the disability. And for seniors, when we conduct training, at first is we have a screening question, which is we will ask the participant or the potential participants, they face any difficulties or any disability. So that's the screening question. Why we have to ask for this screening question? Because we need to we need to identify what type of assisting material or technology that we can provide to them. For example, if we have hearing impaired participants, so we will provide sign language interpreter, and normally we will provide the sign language interpreter, and at the same time our Zoom have facilities to closed caption. And then with the AI now, I think a lot very helpful technology from AI, which is they can convert from speech to text. Okay. And for other type of impairments, we prepare the documents, as I mentioned before, about the IOER, Inclusive Open Education Resources. We prepare the accessible material for the participant to enjoy or to read the documents. So that's from the screening, we can identify the category of the impairment or the disability, so that we can cater their needs. So we try our best to help them with that the needs. And for the teachers also, we encourage, we advocate, and we promote. That's why CMOs and trying our best to prepare the manual for inclusive, accessible material, so that the teacher also can provide good material which is can be used or can be prepared. I mean to be read by their students with disability. So this initiative, back to the question, we try to help and we try to encourage everyone, and that's another way of us to educate.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Azlis, for addressing the issues and the plans that you have to close the gaps actually. So next, we move on to the next question. So to Dr. Mageswaran, the question is for you. What are the barriers and factors that slower our 60-40 policy implemented since 1970? And what are the plans designed to overcome effectively? Would you share your
Sorry, what's the
insights?
60-40 policy?
Sorry?
What's the policy actually? 60-40?
Factors that slow the policy's implementation, and how do you think that we can overcome these problems, that slowing down of the policy's implementation? Do you think there is other factors that contributing to the slowdown of the policy or the implementation of policy, and how do you think that we can address and overcome this?
Okay, to be honest, we cut down on paperwork lah. Okay, paperwork makes policy difficult. Uh, um, when you go direct to, when there's paperwork, people got no time to think about innovation. You're just sitting down and filling in the blanks. So that is a barrier, and that is a factor as well. So, but nowadays we have events and stuff. For example, like innovation competition for teachers. These things bring out the hidden talents that exist in a teacher. Okay, so but unfortunately, yes, it's difficult for us to go past the barriers unless to be honest, like you have ministry, you go down JPN, you go down, you have PPD, you have school, so that we need to cut down on those pit stops there. So if you can go direct, that will be great. So that's the way we can solve this issue. All right. So that's a hope lah, that we can bypass it.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for sharing your opinion on this. Next, we move on to Dr. Husniza. So the question is, as mentioned earlier, not all teachers are proficient to integrate technology in teaching. So how can we effectively train the teachers to use technology in special need education?
Alright, so again, I would like to stress out that technology doesn't refer to just computers, digital, complex things that you are using currently. Technology can just be cardboard, can just be acrylic things that we have at our incubator dyslexia UUM. But what we can do is, for example, UUM, inshallah, next year we will go all out for AI empowered educators training for the teachers. That training is specifically introducing AI based technology so that we can create interactive, engaging environments to feed the need of our very interactive, engaging visual learners. They can't sit still, they need a lot of things that are interactive and stimulating in the learning session. So apart from that, I think we also need to train teachers to actually know who they are teaching. If the child is dyslexia plus ADHD, running around here and there, brain cannot stop moving, eye is actually moving around, not focusing. So what are the stimuli or the focus that could grab their attention and then retain at least 10 minutes during the session? 10 minutes is very long. 5 minutes is okay, acceptable, especially for boys, because they have also short-term memory issues. So those are the things that we have to come together, design together, technologists, educationalists, officials from the ministry, senior SAN, senior Rexam, you're doing math and technology and digital thing. So how do you combine all together in the classroom to create that safe, I would like to say safe because my son's psychologists say that my son was being in pain most of the time when he was at school. So how do we provide that safe environment, that inclusive environment, that equity, equitability, accessibility that we are actually right now is enchanting these terms, right? The tricky part is we don't have the exact formula on how to do it because every classrooms are different, every socio-economic backgrounds of the schools are different, every individual child is different in that school.
Yeah.
So yes, that's why I truly appreciate the effort done by many of the SEN teachers we have at school, at SK, and private centers as well, because they are using anything and everything at their best to innovate, to create low-tech technology but effective. Using colors, we have developed software. We also have tangible user interfaces because we want to create multisensory experience for the child while learning, so that the learning session becomes engaging, effective, and meaningful for these group of learners. PWDs, whether disabled students or students with learning disabilities. So these are the key things I would say. Some of the key things. And also empathize with the struggles as well. That
Yes,
helps. Yeah, that
definitely,
helps a
Doctor.
lot.
So knowing the need and delivering accordingly, I think we can definitely solve this issue, right? So now let's move on to our last question for today. So for Dr. Vara, so tech tools have been used to facilitate teaching and learning for decades, and with integrating of latest technology advancement and development, but sadly not much help in outcome in learning of science and mathematics, especially in Malaysia. So, which sees a continuous decline in performance of students. I think they are referring to PISA standards. Okay, so what can we do to address this situation, actually, Dr. Vara?
Thank you, Dr. Nantini. Yes, when we mentioned about the teaching science and mathematics, the important is not to bring immediately the technology to use it. That's the first thing to be the foundation of the mathematics and science. The concept in mathematics and the concept in science very important. So the technology is a tool to show something that we cannot see. We can see clearer. For example, when you draw the graph of in mathematics, graph of parabola, when you use the hand drawing, you can see just some part of the parabola. When we zoom in and zoom out, we can see the detail, more detail, and we can see the graph like the curve that we can see. This one is the duty of the mathematics teacher and the science teacher to apply the concept and use technology to show the evidence for the learning this, so that we have to, for our center, we focus on the science and mathematics concept and also apply technology to better understanding of science and mathematics. So that is very important, especially for science and mathematics teacher. The concept first, the understanding, the mathematical thinking, and then we can see the beauty of mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vara, for sharing your perspective from the mathematics aspects. And I think our JAM report has also highlight on this, the importance of measuring the outcomes. So I think by implementing strategies for measuring the outcomes would be another better way of how we can actually overcome this situation. So with that, we have actually come to the end of our plenary session for today. And before we move on, so today's key takeaways include that bridging the digital divide and empowering teachers are crucial for equitable ICT integration into teaching and learning, and inclusive policies and assistive technologies are vital for supporting students with disabilities. And of course, partnerships drive sustainable progress in integrating technology into teaching and learning process. Now, let me now invite our panelists for a final remark. So, in one sentence, what's your vision for the future of education technology? So, let's start with Dr. Mageswaran. One sentence, Doctor.
I would say just it should be continuous, you know. It should be sustained, so that you don't lose track of what is happening now and what needs to be done in the future.
Thank you, Doctor. So your keywords for today is sustainable and continuity. So let's move on to Dr. Vara. What would you like to conclude with?
So, as our duty in senior exam and the important role, so that I would like to think about the keep on moving for the future to prepare the teacher for new technology. Then for the future, it doesn't mean tomorrow. The future is today, so that you start from today to prepare the teacher for the student, and also for the student of their career.
Thank you, Dr. Vara. So your keyword is start from today to train the teachers. Thank you. So now let's hear from Dr. Azlis, please.
As advocates to the special education, and normally the best words for special education is left anyone behind. So we shouldn't left anyone. So we need to involve them in any way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Azlis. I think that's a very important praise of do not left anyone behind. So I think it's definitely all of us have to remember that praise. Okay. So next move on to Dr. Husniza. What would be your final remarks for today?
I'll end it short and sweet. Let us come together and use technology as a tool to reinventing giving towards building a better, inclusive, safer society for our future generations, inshallah.
Thank you, Dr. Husniza. Yeah, and Dr. Husniza has highlighted a very important word, safe society. So I think that is also one of a very big concern that what Dato has discussed at the beginning of our session today. Now with that, thank you to our panelists and audience for your thoughtful engagement, and let's continue working together to build equitable and inclusive digital education system. And once again, I would like to kindly request all our participants today to give a big round of applause to our panelists today. Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you so much, Dr. Nantini and all the panelists. We are going to take 5 just to ensure that the arrangements made for the next session, and you can also stretch yourself, because I know you have been sitting there for quite some time since this morning. Alright, so take 5, okay? Thank you. Alright, let us start. Are you guys still with us? Now it's quite hot, no longer cold. Madam Aniza Kamaruzaman, Director of Educational Resources and Technology Division, Ministry of Education, Malaysia. Welcome, Madam. Safely come back to the team meeting. Yeah. All right. Dr. Habibah, CMS Director, Madam Zarila Zainal, Senior Assistant Secretary, Strategic Planning and International Relations Division, Dr. Azman bin Yusuf, Center Director of Senior Exam, and finally, Puan Jamila Kadir, Center Director of Senior Sen. We have come to almost the end, not yet the end, technically. You know why? Because you haven't got the copy of the JAM report in Bahasa yet, right? So it's not really the end yet. Until you get that, then we call it a day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for closing remarks, Madam Aniza Kamarul Zaman, Director of Educational Resources and Technology Division, Ministry of Education, Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Aniza, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon everyone. Salam Malaysia Madani. I need to Datuk Dr. Habibah Abdurrahim, Director of Senior Secretariat, Madam Zairila Zainal, Senior Assistant Secretary, Strategic Planning and International Relations Division, MOE Malaysia, Dr. Azman Yusuf, Center Director of Senior Rexam, Madam Jamila Kadir, Center Director of Civil Sen, distinguished participants, esteemed guests, and ladies staff. So, how is everyone this afternoon? Okay? It's only a day event, or you've been here since yesterday? One day only. So, Alhamdulillah, I thank God because I am here safely landed at your airport. Because actually I was scheduled to be in Penang last night, but I was called for a meeting last night, so here I am today with you. Okay, everyone, it's indeed an honor to stand before you today at the Malaysian launch of the Southeast Asia Global Education Monitoring JAM Report 2023. This year's report, entitled Technology in Education, a tool on whose terms, comes at a vital moment as education systems worldwide strive to integrate technology to meet the diverse needs of learners in an increasingly digital age. Just now I managed to get a few of the gist right from the panel discussion. So you mentioned about how you can integrate digital and also technology, right, in terms of your teaching and learning. Of course, there are many ways to do so, but I'm sure some of you also are familiar with our dilemma, right? Okay, we also have some materials, yeah, for the MFK kids, and also these materials are shared by the teachers. But I'm sure there are many other teaching and learning videos, yeah, also materials which you can upload, which can benefit all the kids in Malaysia, yeah, nationwide. And I look forward to that. Yeah, before I proceed, let me extend my heartfelt congratulations to Samuel Sen, Samuel Rexam, the Samuel Secretariat, and the UNESCO JAM report team for the exceptional work in producing this comprehensive and thought-provoking report as produced in Bahasa Melayu and English language. And I was told this is like annual event, annual reporting. Okay, very good. Your insights, ladies and gentlemen, guidance to policymakers. Based on the report, we can see what's next. What can we do to assist, to further help, make sure that our kids can benefit, right? And also the educators and all stakeholders invested in shaping the future of education in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move further into the digital age, one thing for sure, we talk about digital era, we talk about AI. But do you know that in Singapore, they talk about quantum AI, right? In Korea, they talk about AIDT, Artificial Intelligence Digital Textbook, which is going to be launched next March. Yeah, so looking forward to that. I got a glimpse of what the IDT is all about, but we'll see what transformative force in education. So we have to move very quickly. We have to learn what is this digital tools all about, all the applications, AI applications. We cannot afford to just look back, yeah, and say, okay, I'm not sure whether it's going to work with my kids or not. No, we don't have time for that. Yeah, we have to be very quickly. We have to be very quickly with what the tools has to offer. Yeah, we cannot afford to be left behind. Yeah, and mind you, when I talk about Malaysia, most, if not all, of the Southeast Asian countries they are high on us. Yeah, for example, they know that I would say 99.99% of our schools have access to internet, except for the new schools, right? So when we talk about access to internet connectivity, you know, maybe not the whole school, but at least one class or one group, or a few groups of the school, right? The school have access to internet. In terms of gadgets, yes, we have access to all these gadgets, and we are aiming for one kid, one school, one kid for secondary school, 1.5 to primary school, and we're moving fast by involving the GLC, by involving the private sectors, because they have the CSR, they have the means, they have the money, they don't know how, where to channel their money, their finance. So we offer them so that they can collaborate with our schools. Yeah. Now it has redefined how we teach. So all these transformative force, digital tools have redefined how we teach and learn, introducing new opportunities, especially in STEM education. Yeah? Virtual classrooms, AI-enabled learning platforms, and assistive technologies for learners with disabilities have become integral to the modern educational landscape. Instead, it's there for us to explore, to be innovative and creative. Yeah? However, the GM report reminds us of an essential question: on whose terms are these tools being utilized? Are we ensuring equal access to this technological advancement for all students, including those in rural areas, from low-income families, or with specific learning challenges? So, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate technological progress, it's our collective duty to ensure that technology becomes a tool of equity and inclusion, not exclusion. Yeah. One of the most exciting advancements in this space is the potential of AI to drive education 4.0, which is a learner-centric, technology-enabled model of education. Now, when we talk about AI, we're talking about personalized learning experiences in order to identify gaps in understanding and provide tailored feedback. AI can do that. Yeah? We ask our kids to go to all these apps, to explore, yeah, and to experience, and AI can give feedbacks, can actually offer what's next for these kids based on their strengths, on their weaknesses. Yeah. So everything is tailored and also tailored feedback given by AI, which helps students to achieve their potential. Again, this is now I discussed with Dr. Azman. When we talk about digital tools, applications, AI AI, they're only there to assist us, right? They're only tools. What's important, the center of attention in classroom is the teacher. Yeah, because we have all, because technology, robots, they have no human touch. They do not know the emotion, the feelings of the kids. We do. By the slight difference in terms of how they act, react to our, for example, classes on that day, we know. Oh, maybe you have problem at home. Yeah, they need a hug, right? So those are the things which AI cannot do, but we are there. We know what's available in the digital age, which is relevant, which is more adaptable for kids. Yeah. Now, the emerging examples highlight this transformative potential. For example, intelligent tutoring systems which use AI algorithms to adapt to individual learning styles. Talk about learning styles, there are many learning styles of each kid, which we may not be able to address individually in the classroom. AI can assist us on that. Yeah? Now, AI-powered tools mentioned by the panelists now, such as speech recognition software and text-to-speech applications are breaking barriers to learning. They are then explored and give them to our kids. Furthermore, AI chatbots are streaming administrative tasks, allowing teachers to focus on what matters most. What matters most to a teacher? Teaching. Yeah? In Malaysia, initiatives under the Ministry of Education's Digital Educational Learning Initiative Malaysia, DELIMA, which in English translates the precious stone of ruby in Malaysia, yeah. It is a platform which are already leveraging AI tools to support teachers in creating lesson plans, quizzes, and other educational resources. Yeah. I'm not sure whether we do have teachers in the hall today, right? Yes? Hands up, teachers? So you have your ID, the Lima ID, yeah? Yeah? Okay. So make sure you actually log in, you explore. There are hundreds of apps. There are more than 30,000 learning resources for teachers. Okay, explore, they're there. All the videos, yeah. And also, I also like to take this opportunity for you to, I want you to also watch TV. Yeah. Currently, we only talk about SPM candidates. They only have 1 month left. Yeah. Before their SPM exam. So we also have a slot every night. Yeah. Every night, 9 to 10 p.m. on Machotan SPM. If you want the list of the titles, I can share with you. Yeah. So programs such as the Gemini AI Academy, I'm sure teachers are well aware of that, further equip educators with the skills to harness AI effectively, fostering the generation of digitally fluent teachers. We work closely with many international bodies, organizations, and also companies such as Microsoft, Google, what's the other one? Microsoft, Google, and Apple. Right? Okay. And we pay the large amount of money to at least pay for these apps that we have there. So in line with the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013-2025, our commitment to technology as a key enabler of educational reform is unwavering. The recent launch of the Digital Education Policy (DEP), launched last year, November, yeah, solidifies our vision for an inclusive, technology-driven education system. Yeah. We have so many strategies. We have 6 trusts, 18 strategies, 41 initiatives. But then again, what's important, what's happening in the classroom. We can come up with many policies, many guidelines, but what's important is what's happening in the classroom between the teacher and the kids. Yeah, we can give you hundreds of thousands of applications of teaching and learning resources, but how well do you use these resources? Yeah, we do not want them to be a waste. Yeah, mind you, overseas, Brunei, Korea, they want to Yeah, but we, when we have all these resources, make sure we use love to love maximum. Yeah. Okay, and also collaboration is the key. So the road to inclusive and equitable technology integration in education is one we must talk together. Yeah, governments, international organizations, education institutions, and technology providers, especially educational technologies, company must collaborate to ensure that the benefits of technology reach all learners. And mind you, 99%, not 100% of the schools in Malaysia have digital strategic partners. Yeah, yes. Even to the extent sometimes restaurant companies, restaurant owners can be their digital partners because these restaurants give them smartphones. Yes. So then you should go back to the school and ask your principal, yeah, your school leader, what about my school, what our school, what's our digital strategy partner? Because based on our data, yeah, provided by BPSH, yeah, we have by every school in Malaysia at least have at least one digital strategy partner. Because when it comes to education, it's something close to the heart, right? Everyone is passionate about education. It's either the mom, dad, or the grandma, right? Even the teachers and the kids and even the cousins. Everyone is passionate about giving the best education to their kids. Yeah? Today's event is not merely the launch of a report, it is a call to action. Let us use this moment to reflect, share ideas, and commit to building a future where technology enhances learning for everyone. Yeah? So let me urge teachers, education officers, and policymakers to study the findings of the report alongside the digital education policy and other policies. Let us ensure that our strategies and so-called implementations are inclusive, equitable, and guided by evidence-based practices. In conclusion, I extend my deepest gratitude to all the organizations and stakeholders who contributed to this report and today's launch. As we design and implement digital education programs, let us be guided by the principles of equity, inclusion, and innovation. Together, we can harness the potential of AI and other emerging technologies to create a future where every learner thrives regardless of their circumstances. With great enthusiasm and a shared vision for advancing education, and with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I am honored to officially launch the Southeast Asia JAM Report 2023, Technology in Education, a Tool on Wisdoms for Malaysia. May this effort bring us closer to creating an engaging system that leaves no one behind. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Madam Aniza. Can you please be on the stage? Now, we actually thought of doing something, common for the gimmick. But in the end, after brainstorming session with all Wrexham team, we found out that to include technology, inclusivity, which is the thing, and no one left behind, all these three components into one, we would like to request Madam Aniza, our gimmick would be, you need to take a groupie. You be standing there. We are going to supply you with the mobile phone. You are going to take a groupie with all of us. And since all of you has been sitting for quite some time, please stand up close to the VIP table because we are going to take a groupie. Okay. Okay, please come to the center, and Madam Aniza will take the groupie. Okay, closer. Yes, please, closer, everyone. Now, it's very rare that we request a VIP to take a groupie, so this is very rare. Okay, closer. All right. Nice. All right. Sorry. Oh, perfect. Make sure you see everyone. Okay. Cool. Is it cool there? Okay. Yes. Madam Aniza, please join the crowd. We are going to take group photo officially. Straight away. Proper one, yes. Alright guys, thank you so much. Then we are going to show you the QR code to download the report in Bahasa Melayu right now. Back to your seat please. Okay guys, let us start the last activity technically. Okay, there was a very important message from my colleague, Miss Wong Lai Cheng. The message is actually, please do not go back after this event because we prepared lunch for you. But not in this hall. It's going to be at the Mutiara Lounge. We are going to walk you through afterwards, okay? Now, the floor would like to invite Madam Jamilah Kadir together with Dr. Azman Jusso on the stage to present some souvenirs to our guests. Please welcome both. Alright. Now, usually people say ladies first. No, this time still ladies first. Yeah. Alright. So, Madam Jamilah will present the first list of mementos. We are going to invite the most important person during the forum session. Without her, there will be no forum. There will be just lecturers standing and sitting on the stage. Please welcome Dr. Nandini, the moderator of the session. Associate Professor Dr. Husniza Husni from University Utara Malaysia. Dr. Muhammad Azli Sani Majalil, Deputy Director of Senior SAN. It should be a big smile. You've met somewhere, yeah? Oh, alright. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Luckily, yeah? The next one will be Dr. Warapon Prichapon from Senior Exam. This one also macam kenal juga. And last but not the least, Dr. Magiswaran Sanmukam from University Science Malaysia. Now it's time for Dr. Azman. Alright, Madam Zahirila Zainal, Senior Assistant Secretary, Strategic Planning and International Relation Division. Our beloved Mother Nature, Datuk Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim, Senior Secretariat. Please welcome Datuk. Alright, thank you Dato'. And last but not the least, of course, Madam Aniza Kamaruzaman, Director of Educational Resources and Technology Division, Ministry of Education, Malaysia, for gracing our event. Alright, thank you so much, Madam Aniza. Thank you so much. Now it will be, not yet, Dr. Azman and Madam Jamila, not yet, not finished yet. Yeah. Now it's time, mother done, father also done, technically, MOE Malaysia. Now it's time for brother and sister exchange. Yeah, okay, brothers and sister, please. This one is from Rexham to Senior Sen. Ya, abang kawasan kakak kawasan. Okay. Dan the photo now from kakak kawasan to abang kawasan. Alright, please. Alright, please remain on the stage. There is one more. But this time, all the VIP, please come up to the stage. Bring your BM version jam report along. And for Dr. Azman and Madam Jamila, Hilal will take, get your copy. Please be on the stage, VIP, so that we can document this event together. Holding the jam report. Only, yeah. Okay. Madam Aniza in between? No? Yes? Okay, perfect. Yes. Right, done? Okay, thank you so much. Madam Aniza and Dr. Azman, Madam Jamila, thank you. Madam Zarila, thank you. Thank you so much. Boleh turun? Boleh dah turun. Okay guys, so that wraps up our session for today. So most probably there will be more sessions, more research like this going to be hosted by MOE, Senior Secretariat, Senior Assembly, Senior Sen. Definitely the future looks bright as the sun. Yeah, as bright as the sun. We hope that we will be as bright as the two, and not really left behind, because no one left behind, like Dr. Azizan said, but rather we have to be the sun in order to shine everyone in the school together. Right? So with that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and have lunch. Remember that. The most important thing, it doesn't matter whether the future looks bright or not. It doesn't matter whether technology, inclusivity, whatever reason it is, the first is always food. Food unites us together. Alright? That makes us different from AI. For whatever super intelligence AI, they will never enjoy food like we do. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Sen, Senior Secretariat MOE Malaysia, and Senior Wrexham, thank you for your attendance. Have a safe trip back home. All the best and goodbye. Please join us for lunch over to this side, alright? Okay, guys, QR code to download the soft copy of the BM version, just so you know. Yeah, got it. Okay, please. This way. Dah bau dah. Ini dia masuk, silakan.